I'll probably be going back and forth too.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're ready to get started,
let's give it a shot.
All right, sweet. Hey y'all, Bruxa here. I got Ian from Welcome Death Epicurus. You want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So like you mentioned, my name's Ian. I'm the creative force behind Welcome Death Epicurus.
Mm-hmm.
So in the band itself, I write the lyrics, I guess, but I also play guitar, I sing lead, and then I play the flute as well.
Wow, that's rad! Holy cow! So you like to use a bunch of different instruments, because I was listening to the package from your latest album, and there's all kinds of different textures and ambience, beautiful acoustic guitars, and your singing is always on point too. So I gotta hand it to you there.
Yeah.
What are some of the influences that drive you to create such almost cinematic textures and elements in those songs?
Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of you try to think on what sort of influences you, and there's probably so much that you pick up,
right?
That you just it's really hard to pinpoint. But I guess from at a base level, I guess I could say is that just sort of my academic background.
Yes.
And my interests lie in philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a master's degree in philosophy.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, and so I've dug deep into that kind of stuff, and just sort of being fascinated with all that. I wanted to try to find a way to, as best I could, sort of hit on some of the philosophical themes that have inspired me in my life to my music.
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing that sort of cinematic approach just seems to fit sort of the format, I suppose.
No, absolutely. It totally vibes well with the philosophy of it all, because it's honestly, I felt like it was more of a soundtrack than a regular album, to be completely honest, because there's not a single style that you fall into, it really dives and comes up, and I don't know, it's really interesting the way that when I was listening to it, it was relaxing, but then at the same time anxious. I don't know, it's really really interesting.
Sure.
So also, quick question too, the Welcome Death Epicurus, the name of the project.
Yeah.
Was that inspired by Godspeed You Black Emperor by any chance?
That wasn't actually. I know that band.
Yeah.
And I think they were here in Boise.
Yeah,
some
not that
years ago.
long
And I
ago.
think I went to that show.
Nice.
If memory serves. But no. So the name of the project actually again is a throwback to philosophy.
Right.
And Epicurus, it was just an old Greek philosopher
Mm-hmm.
who came right after Plato. And I was trying to just think of something cool.
Yeah.
To have the name of a philosopher in, but something that he actually talks about in his philosophy too is he was kind of one of the first people to talk about death and dying,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just kind of worked into that way of okay, his name and something sort of edgy and aggressive to give a sense that the music that we perform and sort of the lyrics and themes that we deal with, they're on the harder edge of things.
Right.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm kind of I look into things a little too much, right? So honestly, the Welcome Death, and with Epicurus's, philosophy, I think it almost has that double-edged meaning of yes, we are welcoming death because we are happy in this life, but then at the same time it could be welcome death, challenging it, So I think it's fucking interesting and cool. Yeah. So you nailed it on the head with that.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you are from Boise, right? You're from the Boise area.
We could say as much. I grew up, I split my time between here and Twin Falls, but I spent a lot of time here in Boise. I know it well. Yeah.
No, that's rad. How long have you been playing under the name Welcome Death Epicurus?
That's a good question. I think probably maybe 2017 was sort of the fruits of when it started.
Right.
But at that time, it was just me.
Yeah.
Just my singer-songwriter stuff. So, and it was at the end of 2018, 2019, I released just a little sort of, not dorky, but just an EP.
Yeah.
Just with some basics. So, and everything was all myself. And then I got distracted with sort of other musical projects, and then decided that let's actually see if I can form a band. With
right.
the stuff that I've done. So as a band, having bass players and drummers and things like an actual band.
Right.
We've been around for about 3 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of a fair timeline.
Yeah. Okay. So not exactly a new band, but you've had your time already. So that's really freaking cool.
Yeah. Well, we spent a lot of time in the studio recording the album.
No, absolutely.
That was almost like a 12-month project.
Yeah.
Because of course, so many great musicians here in the Boise area, and then everyone's probably wanting to vie to get
Right.
studio time and stuff. So you book one session, and then the next one's not going to come until like another 2 months.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
Where was it recorded? Do you want to, if you want to get into that process?
Yeah,
a
so
little
that
bit?
was it was at Din Studios recording.
Yes, okay.
With Kyler,
Mhm.
who was it was a fantastic experience. It was really great. It's funny how what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of out of place I felt, sort of just in Boise prior to that, sort of not knowing like
Yes.
where do I go, because
Right.
it seems like some of those things are almost hidden. Unless you're in the music community really well, like you don't sort of know what's
Right.
out there and available.
1,000%.
Yeah, so it was nice to like sort of discover, wow, this guy's got a whole like setup. He's ready to go. Like it's a professional level studio.
Mhm.
Like let's get in here and make some music.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that Venus Love was actually telling me about Kyler and her experience with him last time. So you're number 2.
Right on.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah, he's done work for a lot of bands here that I've gone to see as well. Strange Lily, Mandius, Cross Country? I could be mispronounced. I could be getting that wrong. Country's in there somewhere.
Right.
But a lot of projects, yeah, and it's all great.
That's rad. And yeah, damn, that covers most of that stuff. But like, I know that you have a show with Venus Love in live form May 3rd at the Shredder.
Yeah, so we've got a couple shows coming up actually. So prior to that one, so actually this Friday,
Okay.
we're playing at New Colony.
Yeah, the brewing company,
Yeah,
right?
the brew company on Orchard there with PSA, Neptune Moon.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think is Tam, spelled like Dan, but with a T instead of a D. So I'm assuming it's Tam.
Tam.
Yeah, and I don't know those guys, so I'm excited to meet them and see what they sound like. So we have that show. Starts at 7
Okay.
this Friday, and that's free. So yeah,
Rad.
Yeah, just a free show. Happy to give music to the folks.
Hell yeah.
And then yeah, like you mentioned, we do have another show at the Shredder on the 3rd of May. That's Venus Love. That'll be her EP release.
Yes.
Party, I suppose, but we're happy to be part of that. It's gonna be rad.
That's super cool, man. Do you happen to have any like favorite bands or venues out here that you've played with?
Oh, boy, so I mean venues. I really love what they did with Treefort Music Hall.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Turning that, I guess, an old Office Depot, I guess, which is it's kind of a funny transformation.
I
But,
know, right?
But they really they put a lot of effort and thought into constructing a space that sort of fits as a music venue.
Yes.
Of like how the sound will work in different
The
parts.
acoustics.
Yeah, depending on where you're standing and things like that. So it's a really cool space. It's sort of the dream, and the goal
Right,
would
no,
be to get to be able to
absolutely.
play there sometime.
Yeah.
That would be rad.
That is super cool. As far as like other local bands, do you have any others that you've played with and like have had pretty good experiences with?
So because the album took, I think it was actually close to maybe like 10 or 11 months. We called it a year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Essentially
Yeah.
a year. We were so focused on that. We didn't, we weren't playing out at that time, so we were kind of hidden in our cave.
Right.
And now that the album's been released and is out, I feel like we're just starting to get our sort of show legs.
Oh, for sure.
Under us.
Yeah.
And so we haven't played a whole lot of shows with a whole lot of local bands, although we know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But we're trying as much as we can to just to throw ourselves out and be like, hey, we're ready to play on. Throw us on a bill with y'all. We'd be happy to play.
Yeah, no. Welcome Death Epicurus is always looking for a show, right?
Yes, definitely. Please get in touch on our Instagram page. We have our email. You can DM us there. We'd be happy to join in on some groups.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And honestly, I think that y'all's sound would fit with like just about any band out here, because you do have those really awesome, beautiful acoustics, but then it goes into those crazy washes of distortion and that shoegazy style that honestly I freaking love. So you nailed it there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no. But yeah, let's see. And then you're mainly a guitar player, correct? And vocals?
I guess you could say that. Like I've never been super satisfied with my guitar level of skill, which is okay.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Sure.
I just but I think that what I've really, which is so hard to do, given that I do play guitar and I also sing in the band. I love that, or as much as I can, I try to incorporate my flute playing.
Right.
That's my primary instrument. I've been playing that since I was in junior high, so it's been like 20 years now.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a rare instrument in bands.
Right. The only thing I can think of is Jethro Tull.
who's definitely a big influence.
Oh, for sure. I believe it.
I mean, if you play the flute and you don't know who Jethro Tull is,
I know.
it's like, you
Come on,
should probably stop. Yeah. So I wish that I could incorporate it more into like sort of live playing.
Yeah.
But I have my restrictions.
For
But
sure.
if I find pockets where I can play it, I really like to do that because I think that really sort of people aren't expecting that. Like,
No,
they really
no,
dig. They really
absolutely
dig
not.
it. Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
super cool. Holy shit. So then, okay, so you've been playing for the flute for that long. Then what pushed you to the guitar?
So way back then. So again, when I was playing flute back in junior high with my best buddies and everything, some of them were in band, and some were just friends. But like most kids, like, hey, let's form a band. And so way back then, I actually started on bass guitar,
Okay.
which was cool. But eventually, the bass guitar, it's not restrictive in any way. But in terms of like playing solo stuff,
Yeah.
can't really go out and play a bass guitar on its own and be a
Right.
singer songwriter. So I just I picked up a guitar just on its own and just self taught, just learned basic campfire chords and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and never really sort of did a whole lot of progression. Just kind of knew the basics,
Yeah.
and so it's always just been in the background. I've tried over the years to sort of supplement and increase and become more proficient at it.
Sure.
Given that now that I sort of lead a group in a sense of like writing the lyrics and things like that, having the ability to or being musically proficient is
Right.
also not a bad thing.
No, not at all. And that's something that I like to encourage friends and stuff too, like to at least understand how to communicate in music, because I remember, when I was first starting, I didn't understand any of the chords or the note names or anything. I would just be like, oh, put your finger on the fifth fret,
Right. Yeah. A lot of what I do too is I just dinking around on the guitar.
Oh,
and just
absolutely.
like what if I put my fingers like this? Like how does this sound? Or like something like this, or even kind of like if I put just one finger and I just sort of discover sounds that like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Where can I sort of take that?
There you go.
It would be cool to sort of have maybe a more grounded approach and something like, oh, I can do like a minor 2 to a 5, like 2-5-1 progression or something like that. But maybe that'll come down the line.
I'm sure.
But
even
for now,
I'm not even at that level yet, and I have my associates in music production.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. You don't have an excuse. No,
I know, for real.
Yeah.
No, but music theory essentially is helpful when songwriting, and trying to communicate. But you really don't have to have like an overall know everything.
Right. You don't have to have gone to Juilliard
exactly
in order to like write good music and have
right.
something that affects an audience.
Literally,
all,
and that's something that I like to tell people too, because honestly the bands and musicians that influence me the most are the ones that kind of come up from the underground, because a lot of they have zero music theory experience,
A very like DIY approach.
Literally, and they find their own way, it's pretty wild. So honestly, no, I think you nailed it on that front too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, right on.
I mean, you're clearly not handicapped, in any way.
Mm-hmm.
You write incredible music, so I think, like I said, you're just nailing it all around.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I guess the flute really goes well with people named Ian.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing too. If you're named Ian, you got to play the flute. That's
right?
That's just a given anymore, and definitely in the music community. Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Do you have you played the Hive or at all by any chance?
So way back in the day, and again, maybe it was around 2017. Actually, I volunteered at the Hive.
Oh, dope.
For a time. Just working the front desk and just helping booking bands and in the space and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And then I was part of a short-lived group prior to COVID. And we practiced a lot at the Hive, and we had one show at the Hive, and momentum seemed to be going like, hey, cool. And then of course COVID hit.
Oh God, yeah.
Ruined everything.
Jeez.
And yeah, we didn't get together again for 2 years, and then of course 2 years is.
I know. Yeah.
You splinter apart at that point.
Basically.
But we had played some shows at the Hive, and then even around that time as well, when I was still a solo project and didn't have the band for Welcome Death, I had performed a few times at the Hive as well. So it's a space I know well.
Awesome.
And I'm super appreciative that it exists.
Same.
As a space.
Same.
Not only is this like a safe, sober space for folks, but I think it's been a minute since I've been around, but they still offer resources for veterans or just anyone sort of seeking help or things like that. They can offer
1,000%.
It's a great space. I'm definitely glad it's here.
Me too. Like free mental health counseling and stuff like that. It's really awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
So I always try to shut the hive out when I can,
Yeah.
essentially. But no, man. Let's see. Is there anything else that you think you could talk about? Anything else that maybe some lore of the Epicurus?
Yeah, I see. Trying to think. Not so much on the Epicurus or anything.
Or maybe
Yeah.
a message of like what is something that sticks with you when it comes to Epicurus's philosophies, like specifically?
Yeah, sure. So relating back to that, like it's a pretty straightforward thing with the name itself, Welcome Death Epicurus. Again, a lot of philosophers consider him the father of the philosophy of death, because again, he was the first person to sort of write about it and acknowledge it a bit more than other Greek philosophers
Right.
at the time. And essentially, for a philosophy lesson, very quick, very easy. Essentially, he said that we shouldn't fear death because when we're here, we're not dead. So there's and the absence of something, like there's nothing to fear because we're here and we exist.
Yep.
But when it happens and when you do die, you don't know about it.
Right.
So you're just to have a fear of an irrational thing that can never be obtained while you're existing.
Yeah.
It's sort of a contradiction. So he said, chill out, don't kind of like don't worry, be happy. That that has persisted through the 2,000 years of philosophical thought. It's still the central argument of the whole thing. And of course, there's been a lot of developments that play off of that.
For sure, yeah.
But essentially, the name just kind of kind of throwing it back into his face in a sense. Welcome Death Epicurus. Just sort of I don't know about a play on words.
See, that's it. Yep.
Just has some fun with what his ideas were and things like that. And in addition to in the name, I understand that Welcome Death Epicurus sounds pretty metal, and you might think that we're like a Norwegian black doom metal band or something like that.
Out of context, it looks like it for sure.
Yeah, totally understand that. And so back when I was sort of thinking about names or whatever, putting the exclamation point after death is an attempt to sort of show, because I mean our music's not like that at all. I wish if I could play black death metal, ripping lines on the guitar, that'd be cool, but probably not going to happen in this lifetime.
Fair.
So yeah, I try to throw like something in there to just let you know, to try to give a hint that like we're not
it's
that
something
way.
Different.
It's something different. But I totally understand. I don't expect people to just be able to figure that out.
For sure.
But it's my attempt to be like, hey.
Yeah. No, honestly, no. I think that it stands out. It definitely stands out, and the logo itself stands out too. Like that, it's got that almost Art Deco feel to it. With the sharp edges and stuff. But also really symmetrical. So it's an interesting logo too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I have to give credit to like graphic designers for all of this. Or like I come with the basic idea, but I don't have any skills on that front at all. Like even drawing, my stick figures suck.
Right? No, fair enough.
Can't do anything like that. So I appreciate that there are folks out there where I can say I have these ideas and they can bring it to life.
Yes.
And they make it look way cooler than I ever could.
See that I can't draw either, and like my kids draw better than I do.
Right? I'll make something for you and you can hang it up there.
There you go.
You could tell folks that your kids did it and they would believe it. They'd be like, yeah, they're doing great. Yeah, 100%.
No, thank you. But yeah, Ian, dude, no, it's rad. Let's see. So you got that show coming up Friday, and can you remind us where was that one at?
Yeah, so that's at the New Colony. Brew Company, I believe. It's on. I think it's 420 is the address on Orchard Street.
Okay.
So they're actually a really cool place. I don't know too much about the owners or the folks that are there, but obviously they're open and to the music community.
Yes.
And they want to promote it. They've got a cool little stage. It's a cool little place to gather and play some tunes. I know that they're pretty much hosting music.
Yeah, they've been doing
every
a lot of
weekend.
shows there.
Yeah, as much as they can. So we really appreciate another space to play. Yeah.
Right? No kidding. And then, so that one's this Friday.
Correct. Yeah.
And then the Shredder show is on May 3rd, correct?
Correct, which is also a Friday.
Also a Friday.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you're just racking up Friday shows.
The Friday shows. That's when they go. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Hopefully I'm sure there will be decent sized crowds, because I know that since the New Colony has been putting on more shows, more people have been going and checking it out. So I'm pretty sure that you guys should have a decent crowd there, and I know the Shredder will always be popping off. So
yes, the Shredder's a great venue. We've played there before. It's been a minute. So back before we recorded the album, we played a couple of shows at the Shredder with like their sort of mini festivals that they do, I guess,
yeah.
where they get, you know, like 8 or 10 bands, and you get 20 minutes on stage, 20 to 30 minutes, I guess.
Right.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of it's a full night of music.
For
I get
sure.
it. But those were great experiences too. So we're happy to be back at the Shredder because that's a great venue, and
Awesome.
we love playing it.
So, Ian, if you want to let us know about the album Midnight Docks and the themes and what the whole process and the creative background behind it.
Sure. So it kind of all came together from like the songs themselves, I guess you could say.
Sure.
So a lot of these songs, well, I shouldn't say a lot of these songs, but because it's sort of a progression.
Yes.
But the album itself, like these songs, some of them are old. Like these songs have been, I wrote them 8 years ago.
Really?
Or something
That long ago?
Yeah. I think there's only one song on the album that was written like during the recording process of the album.
Okay.
Everything else had already been, had been in my music storage essentially.
Back pocket.
Yeah, for a long time. But in combining them all, so the title of the album, Midnight Docks, just to put it out there, so I understand. So to perhaps best understand the album, sort of the themes and whatever. So Midnight Docks, it's noun verb. So most people might think that's like adjective noun,
Right.
but it's not.
Interesting.
So the idea is that like midnight itself is an entity.
Docking. Okay.
Is like a presence and a force.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the verb, docks. Yeah, sure.
Interesting.
And that kind of ties in with the album art as well. So if go take a look at it, because I don't think we can show it here. And I had a really great acquaintance that I had met way back when I was in college studying abroad in Germany. She's actually an Argentinian artist who lives down in Argentina, and we just have been Instagram friends and Facebook friends and whatever. And I knew she was an artist. Reached out to her, so she's the one who did the cover art for the album, and she did a phenomenal job. Again, all the ideas and like, hey, I'm thinking this and this and this. I can't put it together. So please, you and she did a wonderful job. So I think that ties in very well with the album art itself, and then the progression of the songs. You're just that idea. There's a lot of pessimism and a lot of sort of darkness in the work or the works, I should say. And I think that'll help just sort of prep you for your listening experience.
Absolutely. No, I actually really want to get my hands on like a physical CD of it because I want to see all of the art, because like I saw the album cover and I was like, this has to be more than just this, right? There has to be more to it.
Maybe so if we do, that's the thing in this day and age, is that it almost seems not worth it to do physical media because just like I don't own anything anymore that can even play. Like my computer doesn't have a disk drive. Vehicles don't have CD players anymore.
Yeah, it's getting weird.
I still have I have an Xbox.
True.
So I could put like DVDs and CDs on that, but everything is just streaming now. But if we ever if we're to come out with a larger if it hit big or something like that, we're gonna play like Madison Square Garden or something. We would consider maybe releasing sort of like a vinyl or sort of a special edition, having some physical, because it would be cool.
Absolutely.
But at this point, it's like it's hard to sort of justify that, which is a bummer again, because that's another like part of the whole sort of musical experience.
Oh, absolutely. Growing up, we always had our physical CDs or like vinyls or cassettes, and we'd go through the art. Just because it looked awesome.
I remember when I was a teenager, when I had to spend a summer here in Boise mowing the lawn of the government building that my mom worked at.
Okay.
They gave that to me, and I got like $20 every week when I mowed. This was back when Hastings was still around.
Oh, nice.
Loved Hastings, R.I.P.
Yeah.
But every week I got the $20. I'd go to Hastings, and Pink Floyd's one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Love Pink Floyd. Every week I was going down to Hastings to get the next album to like film, to get all of their albums.
Yes.
And just like you said, I was loved going through the booklets there and the liner notes, reading the lyrics, seeing the art that they sort of thought represented their music, and sort of tying it all together. Yeah, definitely something I miss.
Yep, me too, man. The descriptions and like that was what really built the rock and roll image. Was like the descriptions and like the stories that they would tell. So I think it's something we should bring back in some kind of form.
Yeah, if we can find a way to make it happen,
Or like a
I'm all for it.
downloadable PDF or something. If it is a streamed copy.
Yeah, that would be Come on, Spotify.
Come on.
Let's get it together. Yeah, you get like an extra, I don't know, an extra $1, and then you get like all the extra goodies that bands put together.
Honestly, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah. And with the band, it's too much. So definitely Instagram is our like #1 social spot. Give us a follow. Check out the album.
Mm-hmm. Could you remind us of the name and where you can find it?
Yeah. So the album is Midnight Docs. It came out January 31st. It's on all the streaming platforms. So Spotify, if that's your thing, but Apple Music, YouTube, if like you're a boomer and you don't have Spotify or anything. My parents actually, when I told them about the album, that's how they went to YouTube because they don't have any of the streaming services. One plug, if I can put out there for the album, is that it's also on Bandcamp. So we all know, and I'm sure every local band feels this way. Of course, I don't want to speak for them, but streaming services suck.
Yes.
Like Spotify is awful. Of course, we just have to, bite the bullet.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You got to get it out there.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to support local artists and local music and things like that, if they've put their music on Bandcamp, that gives us direct support. Like you can support us directly for the work that we've done and for the time and energy and effort that we've in creating our art and our music. So please, if you'd like to support us there, go to Bandcamp. Welcome Death, Epicurus. Again, our album is there, and you can purchase it, and you can get it in all the different file formats and whatever.
Dope.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout out, and just a quick reminder that Bandcamp Fridays too are also a great time to buy music and merch and whatever from the bands on Bandcamp.
That's correct, because it's like 100% of proceeds or something. 100%. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely Bandcamp is still a great place for checking out smaller artists. So yeah. No, thank you very much, Ian. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And definitely we'll talk to you next time.
All right. We'll see you later.